This is IGN. Ethan Hawke puts the pedal to the metal in a 1930s Ford. This is your IGN review of The Wait by Siddhant Adlakha. Parag McKinley's first feature, a Depression-era heist western led by Ethan Hawke, is an absolute delight. At turns nerve-wracking and gradually riveting, The Wait is incredibly self-assured in its straightforward plot, following a group of prisoners tasked with stealing gold in exchange for their freedom. It boasts an entertaining ensemble, among them a scenery-chewing Russell Crowe, each of whom play fully fleshed-out people as much as they portray unexpected symbols of American history, resulting in the kind of slick, sophisticated, dramatic thriller that comes about once every so often. The year is 1933. It's been 4 years since the Great Depression thrust single Oregonian father Samuel Murphy, played by Hawke, and his young daughter Penny, played by Avi Berry, into poverty, but he keeps her amused by speeding their rickety Ford through open fields, pretending to be an outlaw of the Old West. "I ain't never been caught," he playfully boasts, drawing innocent laughter. The film's introduction is intentionally saccharine, and it turns out quite ironic, since Murphy is indeed locked up soon after a violent misunderstanding. Sentenced to labor in a prison camp under the watchful eye of the stringent, hard-nosed Warden Clancy, played by Crowe, Murphy uses his skills as a handyman and mechanic to expedite his roadway building, in the hopes of having days or weeks knocked off his 6-month sentence. He's up against a ticking clock. Within 30 days, Penny will be made a ward of the state and put up for adoption. Impressed with Murphy's workmanship and sympathetic to his predicament, Clancy presents him with an opportunity. If he and 3 prisoners of his choosing can help one of Clancy's associates out of a bind, he'll sign their release papers early, reuniting Murphy with his child. The catch? As prisoners, they're considered disposable. Their task is to make a dangerous trek at gunpoint, transporting gold stolen by its own mining overseer before it's reclaimed by the Franklin D. Roosevelt government, a real executive order forbidding the hoarding of bullion in an effort to inject money back into the U.S. economy. These are the beginnings of not only the movie's larger plot, but the streamlined political backdrop against which the characters wrestle. Some are content to live under the boot heels of capitalism, transporting other people's gold for a pittance. Others, especially those dealing with racial animus, are less enthused, leading to a mood of fomenting rebellion. Risking life and limb over treacherous terrain and under fire from bandits, Murphy's quest takes the form of breathtaking set pieces interspersed with quiet character moments, which help flesh out the story just as much as the interpersonal banter. The men he chooses to accompany him are his sharp-tongued bunkmates, who, despite their wildly different backgrounds and dispositions, at least get along while playing poker. There's Rankin, played by Austin Emilio, a boorish wasp loudmouth. Olsen, played by Lucas Lingard Tunneson, a kindly, trusting Swede, and Singh, played by Avi Nash, a restless Indian-American socialist lumped in with the trio instead of in the colored bunks, since Indians were legally considered Caucasian at the time. A pair of armed security guards, the terse Amos, played by Sam Hazeldine, and the burly Latender, played by George Burgess, guides them on their journey, keeping their eyes and crosshairs trained on the prisoners. Along the way, the ragtag bunch also picks up a Native American straggler, the dexterous and headstrong Anna, played by Julia Jones, who bargains her way into the group and matches Murphy's penchant for MacGyvering his way out of sticky situations. The film veers deftly between reflective silence and cheer-worthy pandemonium, yielding numerous heart-and-mouth moments. The rotten planks of a steadily collapsing bridge snap off with the thundering echoes of gunshots. The movie's sound design is impeccable, enhancing the motion of people and objects, while logs floating down a treacherous river practically assault the motley fellowship like a swarm of sharks. It's maddeningly intense and often just as funny. All the while, Hawke, as usual, puts on a clinic of performance that feels like the polar opposite of his meek, shallow, wordy, and recently Oscar-nominated Blue Moon character. His conception of Murphy is gruff but never caricatured. He serves the plot precisely, calculating each decision and motive with lucid clarity, and yet he embodies each scene in completely organic ways that create worlds of wordless backstory. Despite keeping largely to himself and to his mission, you know exactly who Murphy is, as though he were Jesse James or some other American outlaw who had risen to the ranks of folklore. Perhaps the movie's opening wasn't so ironic after all. Would you believe Murphy's skills behind the wheel turn out to be relevant too? A gruff, must-watch Ethan Hawke leads a delightful band of outsiders in The Wait, a Depression-era heist film that oscillates between slow burn drama and nail-biting intensity. Its tale of prisoners tasked with transporting stolen gold in exchange for their freedom is equal parts political leaflet and Western folklore, resulting in a slick thriller that charges breathlessly forward. The Wait's IGN score? 9 out of 10. Thanks for listening to IGN. My name is Tony Jackson, and for the latest updates on The Wait, visit us at IGN.com.
Spoken Layer.